Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Scale with Clarity. Today's conversation is with Natasha Walstra. And honestly, this one felt like such a refreshing take on building a business online. Natasha is a LinkedIn strategist and founder of Nearpoint Strategies. But what I love most about this conversation is that it really isn't about algorithms or hacks or trying to become an influencer. It's about relationships. We talk about what it looks like to leave the corporate world, figure out your voice, and build visibility in a way that still feels human, especially if you're an introvert or someone who's tired of transactional networking and constant selling. Natasha shares how she accidentally built her business through LinkedIn, why authentic connection still matters more than ever in what she calls a, quote, trust recession, and how to show up online without feeling like you're performing. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by social media, raising my hand right here, unsure how to talk about what you do, also raising my hand, or hesitant to really put yourself out there, I think this conversation is going to resonate. So let's get into it. Welcome to Scale with Clarity, the podcast for entrepreneurs who are building a business and a life that actually feels good. I'm Brooke, fractional CFO, strategist, and mom of three, and I've learned that scaling isn't just about hitting revenue milestones. It's about finding alignment between your big vision and your everyday reality. Each week, you'll hear honest conversations with founders who are redefining success on their own terms. We'll talk about the pivots, the aha moments, and the tough decisions behind the scenes. Plus, the surprising ways entrepreneurship becomes the greatest personal growth journey of all. Whether you're dreaming of leaving corporate, navigating the messy middle, or trying to grow without burning out, this show is here to help you scale with more clarity, confidence, and ease. Because building a business should expand you, not deplete you. Let's scale with clarity together.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Brooke.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Those of you listening, Natasha and I just talked for 30 minutes. So we've already covered everything you guys need to know. now we got to rewind a little bit. I am so excited to have you on this podcast for a couple of reasons. I just mentioned it before we pushed record, but Natasha and I are in a community together. So we kind of cross paths there. And then you are very active in LinkedIn, which I want to dive into with you because you have so much good stuff to share. But where I want to start is you talk a lot about being an introvert, but putting yourself out there. And I love just how real you are in terms of your entrepreneurial journey and the stuff that you've had to do. Actually, where I'd like to start is, can we talk about your transition into being an entrepreneur? Because I know that hasn't been your whole career, correct?
Yeah, I'm going on 2.5 years right now. So it's pretty new still.
And were you always wanting to start your own thing, or was that something that just kind of the natural evolution of your career path?
No, it never occurred to me at all, honestly. Like my parents aren't entrepreneurs. It's not something that I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to have my own business. It never crossed my mind, honestly. Even when I left sort of the corporate-ish world, I was working at Forbes Books, and then I joined an agency as partner, and I put that in quotations because it turns out I wasn't quite partner. And that's sort of the jump start as how I ended up doing my own
Step
thing.
one,
I was working work with three dudes here in the South. And you can imagine there was a discrepancy of values. And various things around that. But I met somebody who's also part of the same community, she's the one that actually introduced it to me. And I was so inspired. I was like, why am I working for these idiots? I could totally do this on my own. Like, it just never occurred to me.
Isn't it crazy?
All these women doing this. Yeah.
This is why, thank you. I want to share your story. I want to share everyone's story because I went through that same process and I was like, it's almost like once the blinders are off, you're like, why did I not even, it? And we'll talk about it. It is not easy. It's not like there's ups and downs with it, but you didn't even think about it. Like, wait, I could do this for myself. I don't have to put myself into this box for this company, whatever they want me to be. So it's like almost the first, couple months are both super scary, but also super freeing. Like you're on this, I could be whatever I want to be type of path, I feel like. So you left, you decided to leave your agency. Yes. Had you lined client? Did you know what you were moving into, or you're like, I'm just going to figure this out next? Like, was LinkedIn your focus back when you first left your agency?
Well, so what happened was I was already like, okay, this is definitely not working out. And then somebody came up to me and was like, hey, I understand what you're doing there. It was thought leadership strategy. But she's like, can I just work with you on your LinkedIn stuff? And I was like, huh, yeah, let me think about that. So that night I couldn't sleep, of course. So I put together an offer and then I shared it and they bought it. And I was like, ooh, this is interesting. And so what I did for the next few months, it was October of 2023. I started to socialize the idea and do what I do on LinkedIn, my whole like leveraging the network, talking to people kind of behind the scenes. I'd already been creating content for a long time at this point. And I've been using LinkedIn as my way of doing sales for years by now. Like it's been to today, it's been about 10 years. But at this point, so started to do that. And by the time I officially launched my business in December, I had 8 clients. And it was just from doing the things kind of behind the scene. And also, again, had built sort of an audience that trusted me already.
You know,
Yeah.
okay, so we're going to jump around a little bit, but hearing that, I love that because I talk to a lot of people that have left their job and their first, I'm a real, I'm a huge proponent of maybe your first clients are going to be in your existing network. And by network, I don't necessarily mean social platform network, but just the people that you know that you've worked with. But what I recently had someone tell me, they're like, you know what, that's consulting in that you don't have a defined service. Like they know you from your past and you're maybe just like, oh, you're not working. Hey, I need help with this. And so it sometimes can give you a false sense of like, oh, I'm in business for myself.
Yeah.
This is working. And the missing piece, I'll speak from my own perspective, is actually selling, like figuring out what you're selling, who you're selling to, and like, here's my defined service. And that always changes. You can correct me if I'm wrong but like, I feel like that's always an evolution of like, who do you want to work with? What is the type of, person? But hearing your story, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you had done all that unbeknownst to you because you had built this LinkedIn kind of, I don't know, process, which now I know you have a kind of a formal process and what you call it, but you had kind of done that already in your last role. So how to kind of talk about it, bring in new people within your network. It feels like that was like you had that ready to go. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd been doing LinkedIn for a long time, and where I was, there was an overlap with what I was doing at at the agency, and then when I was at Forbes Books, so I was talking a lot around personal branding, business
Yeah.
development, and I just didn't know what it all was necessarily. And then finally, when somebody told me my offer, basically, I was like, yeah, let me think about this, right? Then I was able to actually put that out there, right? Like, so it almost like it happened so organically. Again, not I never thought I was going to be doing that, but I was like, yeah, there's a demand for it clearly, right? And
Natasha,
so
it's
then I
like,
was able, that gave me that confidence. Because I think honestly, if I had thought what I was actually doing, like that I was leaving and starting my own business, like I don't know if I ever would have actually done it. That's so crazy.
I know. Now looking
But
back,
I
can you
didn't think about
imagine?
it. Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, do you have any inklings of like wanting to go back to like an agency or like now that you've been out for, what'd you say, 2.5 years?
No, but I've been working with a corporate client for the last 9 months, which I just ended because it was too much of that and it was taking way too much of my time that I was like, it was suffocating me and it wasn't bringing me joy anymore. So I decided, even though it was a giant contract and felt like stable in theory, it was holding me back. And so that is,
Good.
yeah, it's done. Yeah.
Um, Good for you because I feel like that one takes knowing yourself and feeling like this isn't aligned, which takes a lot of people a long time. But two, saying no to revenue with the trust and knowing that like it's going to free up my time and my energy for bigger and better things, which
It's taken me some time to get to this point though, because I've been wanting to quit for a long time or like end it, right? And I felt like I started feeling I had split personalities. I was like literally, because I've got their computer over here that I have to
yeah,
use. So it's like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, this is not working.
this isn't it too. And I don't know. We'll see over the next couple months. I know you said you just did this, but like I can't wait to see. I feel like the hope is with the freed up energy, there's going to be a takeoff in the stuff that you're really like
That's
loving and doing. And
yeah,
already, I mean, you've talked about several speaking engagements you have and just like kind of, I don't know. I feel like the momentum is there. So I'm excited to see kind of where that goes. And the
yeah,
proof that it is, this is what I talk to my clients all the time when we talk about different, from a financial perspective, but we look at their profitability and you're not making money with this, but maybe I could. And it just, the energy, it like drags you down as opposed to really focusing on the things that light you up and that can really like bring in even more profit. And so anyways, you're an example of that too. So that's great.
Well,
So
it's funny actually. Somebody gave me really good advice because I was like, it felt scary to end that, and then especially because I've got like daycare now, we're putting our son in and all the things. And then he said, well, wasn't it scary to stay
mhm.
there? Because you can't make any more money then. So now you have all these additional expenses. Like, how are you going to make up for that if you can't do any more? I'm like, whoa, that's actually a really good point.
You're like, how dare you?
I
It makes
know.
so much sense in
It
this.
was great. It was like, I think that was a push I needed because I was like, yeah, that actually is very logical. And I do pride myself on being logical. So I was like, okay, this is it.
This is what I tell people that are thinking about leaving corporate too. A lot of time, like, when will I replace my salary? And I know financials, obviously, it's a huge consideration. But we talk about too, I talk with them. I'm like, well, what is it costing you to stay? Like not just like pure financials, which is like, okay, you have to pay for, maybe a nanny, extra daycare, whatever it is, like you're not around, like non-financially, just like the stress and the burden. And like, I would actually pay for flexibility. Like I would pay somebody if I was like in this box, I'd be like, give me Fridays where I can do whatever I want. Like, what would that cost me to get? And I'm like, so anyways, so it's like a different way to think about it too. When you're like, you kind of only see one side of the coin as opposed to the other. Um, so will you talk to somebody too? So you have always been LinkedIn, like that was what was working for you. I understand, like in agency, when you were at the agency, and now why LinkedIn? There's so many things. There's so many like platforms, and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs that are kind of dabbling in a lot. Go back to the multiple services, and just energy is kind of seeping out in so many places. And I will just the leading thing is I love what you say about like, you're on LinkedIn to get off of LinkedIn. And I just think that resonates with so many of my clients they're not content creators. They're doing this for business, but all we see is kind of the effort that's put in. So all that to say, why LinkedIn? And like, how can that be different in your mind?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you asking that. So, I mean, I got into it. It wasn't also like I ever set out to build a personal brand. I was an SDR where I had to cold call, smile and dial 100
That
dials a
gives me
day.
hives hearing that. I just, I don't.
I, I like think about it and I turn purple because of like how bad I was at it.
How did you
Honestly.
do this? Pause a little bit. How did you do that as like an introvert too? Like
I did. It was so bad, and I was really bad at it. Truly, like it was bad. Um, I once hung up on somebody twice, literally. Like I called them, and they answered, and I was like, oh my god, I hung up, and then they called me back because they were pissed that I did that, and then I hung up on them, and I ran out of the office
like if they
purple,
call again, please.
and I was crying. I was like, oh my god, I can't do that. Like it was so brutal. Because I also used to be super shy. Like I'm not as shy as I was now. I'm still the introvert part, but no, it sucks. But I'm super competitive. So I was like, how the heck do I hit my numbers but not cry every day? And so I discovered using LinkedIn as a way to connect, network, and then warm call. And turns out people are much more receptive to that. So LinkedIn was a lesser of two evils of cold calling, right? And
Yeah.
LinkedIn, even at the time, was still really hard for me to do. Like I'm not very active on. I don't use social media in my personal life. At
Yeah.
the time, I still wasn't doing any. I have Instagram, and I don't even think I had Facebook. I mean, whatever it was, like I wasn't active on them. So showing up was really freaking hard still, right? But
Yeah.
I recognized that it was way easier than cold calling, and it also actually just felt kind of good, right? Like it was a more authentic way of doing things.
Yes.
What I learned over the years, though, is that there are so few people actually creating content on LinkedIn
Yeah.
that it's so easy for you to stand out and become the go-to expert, right? There's 1.2 billion people on LinkedIn, but only 1% are posting any original content, which is so crazy to think about that. So
It
like,
is. Yeah.
yeah.
I,
So if you, I mean, yeah, you can just think about your niche and where you are. You seriously can own it.
I mean, there's several things you said there that I want to go back to, but one of them is like the 1.2 billion and the amount of people posting, which I know you hear it all the time, and I do. Is just even I started posting maybe a year ago more frequently and consistently. And even to that, some people are like, oh, you're always out there. It doesn't feel even like with a smallish amount of followers, but people can feel like they're just like putting themselves out there so much. And I love what you said too, because and then not getting anything in return. But to your point, there are so many people out there. You don't know who's watching and who's resonating. And most people, and it's very different, I feel like, than from Instagram, for instance, which I also am not very frequent posting there, but I feel like there's a more, I don't know why, but it's a more maybe immediate. You can get some negative, you see comments that kind of just like, it's just, you can get drawn in to the negative vibe and the constant scrolling and that. Whereas LinkedIn has felt like the people that are posting
and the people that are interacting are much more authentic. And so, like you said, like the relationships, like it's felt real, like for lack of a better term. And I think you've said this before, that even the process that you talk about on LinkedIn is like, how would you replicate how you are in real life? So whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, or you like talking or don't like talking, you can kind of, the whole process should be where you're doing it, but you're amplifying it because there's a billion people as opposed to the people that are in your town that you can actually physically see. Is that the right way to think about
Yeah.
it?
Oh, I love this. You're like totally, you've like soaking in the things I talk about. I love
Oh,
it so
I'm
much.
like, give me
That's
more.
literally what I say. It's like how, instead of like, because I think I look at LinkedIn as a a relationship building platform that happens to have content, right? And so when you think about like, how do I build relationships on like LinkedIn? Well, how do you build them in real life?
Yeah.
And we're just trying to find the digital version of that. So what we're trying to do is bring more of your essence to your presence on LinkedIn. And by doing that, you have purpose on there because you're actually building relationships and connecting with people and getting off of LinkedIn. Like that's the whole point, right? Like we're on
Yes.
LinkedIn to get off LinkedIn, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. So what would you say to the person that is, so like, I want to talk to my clients and listeners that are like, they've had corporate jobs. So they've built some type of connections on there, but really with their job, they've grown their coaching, consulting, creative businesses through their existing network. But now they're like looking to get, okay, now I need to get that next level of like clients. And I've never actively posted, like, what are the first like couple things that they should think about to maybe switch their mindset from like, this is, this is just the place that I connect with people that I have, that were in my old world, to like, how do I build these relationships on here?
Sure. Well, your profile is really important. I
Mm.
mean, it's not, once you are active and have been building sort of a network on there, it's not, I mean, no, it's always important. You just don't think about it as much as you're like on there. But if it doesn't feel like it represents who you are today, not some corporate buttoned up version of you,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to do anything else on there because a successful LinkedIn strategy is both content and conversations, right? So, but if you don't feel comfortable with how your profile is, that if it represents who you are today,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to put content out and it's going to be really hard to start conversations.
Sorry to interrupt you, because that is so important, because I do think I don't want to minimize how hard that is coming from a corporate job, because a lot of us were in a box too, a little bit, like kind of told, like, depending on the culture, like this is, your title and this is how you should maybe come across, to like really figure out like who we are and what to bring forward that is not too personal, but that like shows you, like, that's kind of like an art, I feel like, that takes a while to get used to. Or have you seen that differently with your clients? Is it like kind of something that once it clicks, it can click pretty quickly?
Well, it's evolving just like you evolve.
Yeah.
Right. And so it does take us, you're not going to know it right away. And also finding your voice is really hard to do on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
in general because we're so used to performing,
Mm,
right? We have to show up in a certain way that we think we need to at least.
yeah.
Whereas on LinkedIn, if you want to be successful in there, it's actually the more you can bring, the better. But we're not used to doing that because we've always had to hide that. We've had to block
Yeah.
that away. And so it takes a second for sure. It's not like you're going to show up and have it all nailed down.
Yeah.
And it does evolve, especially as you do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Okay. So kind of evolving it, but just realizing, like, start. It's kind of like you say, like
You got to
in
start.
business
Yeah.
anyways, is start and you learn and you figure out, and then you might read it 3 months and you're like, that's not at all like sounds like me anymore. And you kind of keep evolving it. Can you talk about what, like, and it's kind of a leading question because I know a little bit about this, but like why it's so important, especially when we think about how LinkedIn kind of pushes your content and like how that all comes together, trying to find the right people for you.
Yeah. Well, especially with LinkedIn's new algorithm, 360 Brew,
Yeah.
where it's reading your profile, it's reading your content, it's watching your behavior, and then matching it to the right people. And so if your profile is saying is all about you even, right? And not talking to what it is that you actually do, it's not going to know who to connect it to. Right. So it's all those three parts that really are important for the algorithm to even understand where it should be showing your content to. And again, I try not to get too caught up in the algorithm because like who freaking knows? Like anyone, it changes every week. Even LinkedIn, I was on a call with them recently and like even they don't know what's going on with it. So I try not to get too caught
It's
up
like
on
a
that. But you
testament, like
also,
AI has taken its own ownership and has run away. Like everyone's like, I don't
right?
know. How's it working?
Wouldn't be surprised. Like, and then there's conflicting stuff out there. There's all stuff. So like I tried really to not worry too much about that. What I focus on is trying to increase the quality of conversations I'm having. And so you imagine like as you start new conversations, if they go to your profile and they're seen something that's completely different than what your content says or what you said in the DM, like that's going to be confusing, and confused buyers don't buy, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So if I were to think about how this is I should just know this, but how do I make how do I create relationships in real life, and what does that look like replicating it on LinkedIn? Like obviously I know, like, okay, so I meet somebody and I'm like, "Oh, we have a good conversation like about something." I don't know, you're at a networking event, which also feels weird, and I feel like people don't like doing that anymore. Like these like kind of formal, I give you my business card, which never
it's
was actually.
transactional. It's super
Yes.
transactional. That's
And
not
I
what we're
think
trying to do
that's where
here.
I think like I go to, I'm like, "Oh, that's super I don't want to repeat that on LinkedIn because that's also transactional." But yeah, I guess we have to think about like how do you make a friendship, or how do you like people in the neighborhood and you get to know them? Is that like and like what does that look like on LinkedIn? How does that work?
Yeah. Well, I think a part of this that I really like to focus on, that's typically a great way, especially as you're getting
Yeah.
started, is instead of going to LinkedIn with your ICP, so your ideal client profile, and like trying to connect with all these people who you think would be great fits for you, go say hi to your network of people who already know, love, and trust you,
Mm,
right? Like literally say hi to them. When was the last time you saw that person that
yeah.
just popped into your mind, and say hi, right? So it's doing little things like that, like super simple, but like focus on the people that are already in your network that maybe are in the same industry of what you're trying to focus on right now, and then like catch up and then see how we can support one another. That's how opportunities come about, right?
It
I mean,
sounds, Natasha, like I laugh because I'm like, I am that person. I'm like, I think we're all so so funny because you're right. I'm like, oh yeah, obviously, just go to my existing. I think we're all so like every connection request I get, I'm like, oh, they're just gonna sell me. Like we're so like ready for people to just want something, and I think it's because of these cold connections. But like, if somebody I've worked with, and this has actually happened, I've had people that I worked with, and it was 5 years ago, but they reached out and they're like, hey, I'm like, just want to catch up, like I don't, like, and it's been a real like authentic message of like, I don't know what my next step is. I don't know where I'm going to, but I'd love to hear your story or like just talk to you about it. And I'm like, yes, I like love getting on those calls. So you saying that, I'm like, why don't I do the same thing back? Cause it just, I'm like, oh, they're going to think I'm selling them on something. Like it just
well,
immediately.
but that's the thing, is that you have to actually be genuine about this,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the part where I think a lot of people do bait and switch, and then it becomes transactional, and they can see right through that. Like
Yeah.
that's why. So it's your current network, but also like being communities where your people hang out,
Yeah.
and then actually build friends with those people,
Yeah.
right? And then through the content that you're showing, that's showcasing your expertise and your experience through social proof, right? And
Yeah.
everything that you're doing, they're going to start to build that trust already. And so it may feel like it's a longer game by trying to build relationships,
So
but
I was
it's
gonna,
not when you do it genuinely,
yeah.
authentically, and showcase how badass you are. It's like it becomes a no-brainer.
I like that. And because that's exactly where I was going. I was like, you know what? I think we all are fed, not I think, I know, about like the quick win, like
Yeah.
0 to 60,000 followers, which by the way, followers doesn't actually convert to revenue. We can talk all about that, but like just kind of like that quickness. And but that's real relationships aren't convert like that's not how you do
It's not how
like
it works.
right. It's not in 6 weeks. And then I think if it takes longer than like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for 3 weeks straight and I haven't seen anything, people are like discouraged. And so I think there is maybe a period of time where you're like, okay, like maybe I need to look at my process. I'm spending too much time on what it's not converting, but like, can you level set people? Like, if you're doing this process, you got to stay consistent and it's going to take a certain amount of time, right? To like you, because you're trying to be authentic and actually grow relationships.
It does, yes, exactly. So I guess a couple of thoughts. Like one, it doesn't take as long as I think you think it does, right? Like I'm spending about 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn, if that. Obviously in seasons where I'm like, okay, my pipeline feeling a little bit less, then I'm actually not even gonna go on LinkedIn. I'm gonna go into my communities and see
Mm,
who can I start to engage with again, right? So I'll do stuff like that, and I'll do that. But like, I mean, how much do you want sales, right? Are
yeah,
you trying, if you want to do sales, this is how you can do it in a way that feels authentic and good. There's no ads or crazy funnels or anything. It's literally just being human, and it really freaking works. Like, I know it sounds crazy, and I know also, like, I recognize I'm on LinkedIn and selling LinkedIn, so it's a different, people will be skeptic about it. I have clients, so one of my clients, she's a lawyer, so you can imagine she's very skeptic. She messaged me a few months after we were working together, and the whole time she's just looking at me like I'm nuts, but she still did the things. She finally emailed me and she's like, it works.
It's
I'm
almost
putting my
like
skeptic days away. I did the thing you said. It booked me a call. I got the opportunity. I was like, I can't believe it works, but it works.
begrudgingly. She's like, ugh, I'm paying you and it's paying off.
And it's so funny. Actually, no, the other day, actually, the call I have right after this, so I have to jump, is I thought he was going to fire me because he was so distraught when I was telling him that, like, because he's been doing LinkedIn for 4 years, really successfully, a succession planner at CFP type
Yeah.
guy. And he's like, wait, you mean I still have to reach out to people? Like, appalled that it wasn't just going to all come to him. I was like, people are so nervous. Sorry.
You are
People
speaking
are
to
so
me.
nervous.
You are speaking.
Well,
This
and that's
exactly. Is
yeah,
it a financial thing then? Because if he has a CFP,
that's so
I'm
funny.
like,
Well,
you
no,
are
like,
speaking to
think
me.
about it. So, like, right, there's only 1% of people are posting
Ugh, I'm
original
hanging
content,
my head in
which
shame.
means 99% of people are never going to like, comment, or do anything with your stuff. So as much as we'd love for them to come and say
You're like,
hi to
I'm
us, they're
working
not
so
going to.
hard. I'm posting. I'm doing, but it's like,
Exactly. It's not going to happen. So you have to initiate those conversations, but it's never needs to be cold, because what you're trying to do with your presence on LinkedIn is build these signals of intent and then
Yeah.
act on those signals. So I don't do any cold outreach. It's all warm because I'm seeing and paying attention to these signals.
so good.
And then it just like happens organically. It's awesome.
It's actually, it's both, like you said, like, I'm like, oh my God, like really, you feel like you're putting so much effort, but it's like kind of not you're missing a big piece, but I could like lighten up on some of the other stuff I'm doing. So it's both like frustrating that like
Yeah.
6 months ago I could have made some change, but also really exciting, especially for all of us who are kind of either just starting or have been playing on LinkedIn. There is so much opportunity still. And to your point, signals that I know you teach in your programs, but like that you can follow along and be like, it, to your point, it's warm, it's not cold. And I think we're all burned out. That's why I love following along your posts, learning from you too, because it's not that like, like just cold outreach you got to do. Like, or your old job, 100 cold outreach messages and you'll convert 10% into like a call. I'm like, oh my God, no.
It's funny you actually said this though, because I created this lead magnet. I'm trying to, put in, because it's all part of this too.
Yes.
Like, you want to bring people into your orbit, and not everyone's ready to jump into my program. So I have this thing, it's called the signal map. My first person bought it, and someone I didn't know. So it was like, oh, this really does work. It's so cool. Bought it. She ends up emailing me and was like, this is great. It's really confusing though, because it goes against everything this other LinkedIn person I just hired told me to do. And she was like, I send 3 messages, this, that. I was like, oh man, I know, dude.
You have to. Well, you know what? This is such proof. And I love, again, you talk about this too, but like part of this is a circular way of saying this, but like there's so many people out there teaching whatever you want to learn, but you got part of it is finding your person. So similarly, as you're putting stuff out there and just kind of, that's why it's so important to like be yourself, because like, I don't want to grow quickly enough, but in that like kind of like cold out, like not actually building relationships. I want to follow someone who is like practicing what they're preaching. And I can kind of get that from you too, And so you're like, okay, tell me your ways, Natasha.
Yeah.
Show me the way.
Totally.
I know, it's just gonna be so maddening. I guess then I know we're almost at time, but like then the follow-up or kind of the last thing, one of the next things I should say, is when you're posting your content, I think we're all also so burned out of AI. I think
Yeah.
you call it the trust recession, which is part of it
Yep.
too, right? Like, yeah. And I I think, there's ways to leverage AI, but similarly, so we don't want to like the cold outreach and just like the pitch slapping, which we all hear about it too. Like, not that. You want to just really build real relationships. How can you come across real online, like that people don't just automatically, or is that just something you're always going to just have to deal with? Like, people are going to wonder, like, is this you? Like, that's why I think like, oh, maybe video, because they see my face and I'm literally talking. So it's me. Although I guess you can replicate that nowadays too.
I know,
Who
it's
knows?
crazy.
Right?
It's so
I know.
wild. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I use AI for all the time.
Yeah.
But if you look at my content, it sounds like me very much, because it is my original thought always.
Mhm.
And I brain dump it into my Claude, and I have it help me like structure it a little bit. But it's adding, again, going back to this idea of like adding more of your essence, your vibe. Because what we're trying to do, right? Think about it. When you go into a room and you see a bunch of people, like, you can kind of guess like who your people are.
Yeah.
You just like get that vibe check, right?
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, it's one dimensional. It's hard. So what we're
Yeah.
trying to do is create a multi-dimension by
Yes.
putting more of your essence, your
Yes.
vibe on there
Yes.
through little things that are clearly your brand. So like for me, I always have my call to action on the bottom of like, when it comes to my cohort or working with me, I say DM me LFG for deeds, which like, I don't know why I say that. It's so silly, but like now people will respond back and say, let's go. And then actually, this just happened last week. She responds back, okay, let's go. And then she responded back right after. She's like, I mean, LFG, as you'd say.
You're like, it's my brand. It's working.
It's stuff like that like only I would ever do. Right. And then like certain things that you just like think about your quirkiness in real life. Like, how can you translate that? What is that digital version?
Yeah.
Right. It's just finding little things that really showcase that it's you. And then honestly, like making mistakes here and there. Like I don't correct myself half the time because like, whatever, then
That
you
shows
really then know it's me.
Yes, that shows it's you. I love that. And I do want to talk to the person. This is why I wanted you to talk about your programs and how people can work with you, because I absolutely want to come across as myself, and I want to differentiate and just be like, who am I? Because also you're going to find your people. Like I believe all of that. And I know that to be true because I want to work with the people that are my people. I also know that, like, I've heard it so many times. You walk in a room and like, you kind of have this people have, like you said, first impression of you. It's hard to see it in yourself. Like I talk to so many people like, you have this like, like energy. My Whoop thinks I'm working out all day when I'm in a meeting. Cause it's like, like great workout. I was like, no, I was literally sitting in my chair, but I think
Good job. I'm like, I'm sitting here.
I'm like, is it nervous energy? Like, what? How is it coming across? But it's hard to see it in yourself, like whatever it is. And I'm like, if it is, great, put that. Like, that's me. I don't know. But so with all that said, I love. That's where one of the added benefits, not just learning about LinkedIn, but it's like working with someone like you who can kind of maybe help you see what you can't see in yourself and like kind of pull that out, or some of the AI tools that I know or Claude, I guess, is what you've helped help you create, is that or the communities around you that can be like, this is the nuance. This is how you can kind of be you. And this is who you are, by the way, not just, it's hard to see it in yourself sometimes of like, what's different about me versus everyone else. So,
yeah. Well, it's that pickle jar analogy, right? Like when you're inside a pickle jar, you can't read the label on the outside.
Yeah, I've never heard that, but yes, exactly.
Good, right? Yeah. And most people are like really deep inside their pickle jar. And so you need that help though of somebody
like,
to
hey,
like
you're
tell
a
you what
pickle.
it is.
I'm like, I am.
Yeah,
I didn't even,
I've never,
I thought it was a cucumber.
I've
never
hate
seen
pickles too, so I don't know why I even use pickle jar, but
Well,
anyways, a jar analogy.
So how do people work? Like, obviously they can find you on LinkedIn, obviously, and we'll put this in the show notes, but how can they find you and what are some of the ways that they can work with you?
Oh, I appreciate you asking. I do one-on-one. I work in with teams, and then I also recently in the fall launched a community. It's a cohort, launches every other month. It's specifically for female founders, although my other programs are men and women. But the cohort itself is for women.
I love that.
Yeah.
And they can find it. Do you have a website where they can find information on that, or where they?
Yeah, strategies.com/join waitlist would be for the cohort.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I will
I
put
can
those
send
in.
that to you. Yeah. And then also, you want to share the profile glow up in your show notes?
Yes,
I'm happy
please
to
do.
share that. Yeah.
I will put that. Well, I know I've seen it's a QR code, but do you have a link to that?
I have a link for it.
Okay, please do.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in the show notes. You guys check out the profile glow up. This is the one thing I was talking to Natasha really quick before we started recording, because I just know it's not, we talk about being authentic in you and kind of like, how do you like articulate it in a real way that's not AI? And so Natasha's created this really cool, it's not Claude, but it like website or app. Thank you. that asks you a bunch of like really thought provoking questions, but then kind of spits out like helps you to update your profile, which you had said earlier, Natasha's like one of the first things if you're thinking about for LinkedIn, like get that right too, because that's where everyone sees. And actually, you had said this before, so I do want to mention this right before we drop is, with our scrolling culture, I don't know if this is still right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but with our scrolling culture, like people, you get like 2 seconds of attention, but I think you said like the profile, people pause for like 7 seconds. Is that right?
Yeah, when people go to your actual profile, they'll spend 7 seconds looking at the top of it, which is so crazy because I always refer back to when I worked in book publishing and authors have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention with their book cover. 7 seconds is actually a long time.
I know. If you like think, I mean, and
Count
like,
that out.
you're
Yeah,
like 7's
literally.
quick, but no, like God, someone who's holding a plank for 7 seconds can feel like a long time. So it's like, yes. So I think that's even more so. So I will put that in the show notes. You guys check it out. Natasha, I will put all of your how to reach you in the show notes. Obviously, LinkedIn is a great place. And follow along. Natasha, you post amazing stuff too, whether you work with her or not, but just kind of see how you can leverage it in a real authentic kind of you way and not just a way to be like, just to do it real. I don't know a different way to say it. So I really appreciate you sharing all of that and just being you and kind of showing us the way that we can do it in a way that means real relationships come from it too. So
Well, and I love that because the name of my program is a relationship growth method.
There we go. There we go, you guys. See? Not leading at all, but so it's clearly your naming, your branding, it's all working together because that's how it comes across. So Natasha, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for sharing all this. And I'm just excited for others to get to kind of be in your world and follow and learn from you too. So
thank you so much for having me, Brooke. I really enjoyed talking to you. I could continue this forever and ever.
Seriously, we'll stop recording and talk for another hour then too. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey there! If this episode sparks something for you, I'd really love to know. Shoot me an email or leave me a comment on the episode. Those messages really do mean more to me than you realize. And if you're craving more clarity in your business or your career, you can explore ways to work together at www.scalewithclarity.com. You guys, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to the episode. I always love recording these and sharing them with you, and looking forward to seeing you on the next episode of Scale with Clarity.